Alright. Hi. Fuck. Get out of the way. Shit. Alright. Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF, Alone Tonight Raw. I, Michael Cole, Bob Walk, and the Jackal here. And today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Tonight Raw, we don't know what we're going to see, but we think it's going to be a good show here today on Monday Night Raw or Alone Night Raw. You got that right, Michael Cole. Bob Walk says we're going to have a good show here today on Monday Night Raw or Alone Night Raw. I can tell you one thing right now, Michael and Mike and Bob. I'll tell you right now, whatever show we're going to have, it's going to be a good show. I know that much. I know, you know that much. And now we have, and I know that much, just like I know Masco, it's going to get beat up here today, because that's really the only thing he's truly good at, the Jackal says. Would you stop, Michael Cole says, saying that Masco's going to get beat up here today, and that that's the only thing that, that he's good at. Alright, Masco. Alright, Masco says. I know some of you folks out there, I know some of you folks out there have either guilted me or either shamed me for, for either, always wanting to go for the TWF 24/7 winnings. And some of you folks might say, well, Masco, aren't you lowering yourself down? Aren't you lowering your standards? They're like, don't you know that the TWF hard middle winnings, or whatever they want to call it, they say, well, don't you want to know that that's like a stunt belt? I mean, a stunt strap. And you can't earnestly want to go for that, knowing that you got beat up by Xia Li, sundriest times in the past. And some folks might say, oh, what's the meaning of madness? Someone might say, doing the same thing over again, and then thinking that it's going to shift up on like. Well, that might be one of the sundriest meanings of madness. But you see the grounds why I keep doing it again, because I believe that sooner or later I will beat Xia Li. Or sooner or later Shark Boy or King Valkyrie or whoever else wants to go for it. So no, I'm not crazy for always wanting to, keep doing it again. Masco, I understand where you're coming from, Masco. And I know some folks out there might scave you and say, well, you're crazy for always wanting to go, to do something over and over again, and then think that it's going to shift out on like for you. But you see, Masco, I do onlook a lot of folks that never give up at what they're doing, because there are folks in this world, if they would given up the first time or yielded, then whatever would have never happened. And I don't have a lot of time to go through and list you a list of folks that, everybody thought that they were mad for doing what they were doing because they didn't see anything happening. So Masco, if you do want to have your match, here today on Monday Night Raw or Alone Night Raw against Xia Li, then by all means I'll give you that match, Astronomer says. I'll tell you one thing right now, Ecliptor says. I never watched the Might Players, so I don't know anything about that drawing show or whatever. All I know is you come from the Might Players. You were bought from Ole's like, I don't know, so many years ago. And I just want to wish you good luck, because you're going to need it when you're fighting someone like Xia Li, who has beat everyone so far that's come after her for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Ecliptor goes. Alright. Astronomer says, alright, let's get this match started now. Well, some folks out there might think that, Masco of the Might Players, they might think that he is crazy for doing or mad, for doing it or nuts, for wanting to go after Xia Li over and over again, and then thinking that he was going to, that he was going to beat her, and it wouldn't shift out like it did all the other times. Michael Cole said, "You got that right," Bob Walk says. There are folks in this world who might say you're crazy or mad or nuts for doing something over and over again and thinking it's going to shift out on like. Some might think that, Bob Walk says. And some would be true, Michael and Robert. Some would be true about that. Some would be definitely true about that. Like you sitting down in a seat, Bob Walk, and thinking you're not going to fall out of it again. Or you, Michael Cole, thinking that you still are a good play-by-play caller when you never gotten any on-look for it since between 97 YL. Well, that was a little uncalled for, Michael Cole says, because I happen to think that I've gotten on-look from some folks in the skilled wrestling business for being in WWE or WWF, WWE since between 97 YL. Alright, so you want to fight me again, Masco of the Might Players? Well then, all we gotta do is bring in the Fight Lord. The one we got back in 2021 YL, or the one we got back in between 98 YL. Don't really care. I'll beat you either way. Well, this is for the TWF 24/7 winnings. First, he is Masco of the Might Players. And she is the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. And Masco coming up out of nowhere. Oh, and Xia Li just took Masco down with one of those kicks she always did. And Xia Li, just took him down again. One of the very few wrestlers, to come from the folk Reich of Eastland. Michael Cole said, "Yeah, that's right," Bob Walk said. "Xia Li is one of the very few skilled wrestlers to come from Eastland, which is not really truly known for having skilled wrestlers. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not known. They do have sportsmen and sportswomen. They are known for that. But as far as fighting or wrestling goes, or those kind of sports or whatever, not so much." Oh, and Xia Li just took down, Masco again. The Jackal says, "You know what? Masco gotta be mad. He's got to be crazy or nuts to keep thinking that he's going to beat Xia Li and become the TWF 24/7 fighter. If it hasn't happened before, it's never going to happen." The Jackal says, "We'll never say never in this life. There's always the what if," Michael Cole says. And now Masco just took down Xia Li, Michael Cole says. "That's right," Bob Walk says, Jackal or Osiris. "There's always that one time. There's always that what if that does happen in life. Not as much as you think, but it does happen." Right now, Masco taking down Xia Li, Bob Walk says. Will Masco be the new TWF 24/7 fighter? Michael Cole says. I hardly doubt it. You know, I hardly doubt it. 1, 2, and only a kick out, and Masco only got 2. And now Xia Li's gotten back up. Now, Xia Li just kicked out Masco, the mic players. It's just over, Michael Cole says. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner, and still the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. And Xia Li has still the TWF 24/7 fighter. She beat Masco the mic players here today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw, Michael Cole says. Or you could say Raw is War, which was its 2 different name, Bob Walk says. Or you could call it the Raw Over Show, which was its 3 different name, the Jackal says. But anyway, we did see a good match, a good fight here today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw, the Jackal says. Yes, we did, Michael Cole said. Masco gave it all his own. At the end of the day, Xia Li still beat Masco of the mic players. Michael Cole said, you got that right. Bob Walk says, Masco the mic players, he gave it all. But at the end of the day, Xia Li still beat him. And she is still the TWF 24/7 fighter. Well, anyway, we're going to take it over to Tony Schiavone now, Michael Cole says. Thank you, Michael Cole. I'm going to be talking with Masco here today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw, to see why he keeps going for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Alright, Masco of the mic players, a drawing show or whatever that I have never watched before. But some folks would think that you are crazy, nuts, or mad to keep on going for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Well, it's like this, Michael. It's like this, Tony. There are folks in this world that keep on doing things over and over again, and you would call them nuts or crazy or mad. Sometimes it works. Other times they just keep doing it and it never works. But look at it this way. If the White brothers had given up when their first flight skyships didn't work, then they wouldn't have gotten the one skyship that did work. You know, if George Washington and everyone would have given up, in the beginning of the Uprising War or the Freedom War, there would have been no 4-1 Reichs. So, yeah, sometimes in life there are things that folks do and keep on doing it, and it does work for them. And other times there are things that folks do and it never works for them. And some folks need to say I'm mad, crazy, or nuts for keep on fighting Xia Li and keep on losing to her. But at the end of the day, I don't think so. Because you can't be a fighter forever. No need what folks like Roman Reigns and WWE will say. Sooner or later, you are going to take that loss. Your winning streak doesn't go forever. There is no thing called the God setting. Well, that need be true, Masco. But as of right now, Xia Li is still the TWF 24/7 fighter. And if there's a God setting or not, or either how they win out of cheating or not, they're still winning, sadly. And Xia Li is still winning. So, Masco, do you see yourself sometime as a TWF 24/7 fighter? Yes, I do, Tony Schiavone. Someday I do see myself as a TWF 24/7 fighter. And some folks might say that it's a stunt, it's a lark. WWE gave up on theirs and ended theirs in 2022 YL. And except for DDT being the only other skilled wrestling business to still have a winnings like that, the TWF still has theirs. And yes, so does the FMF too. Well, that was my talking of Mascof and the Mike players. Back to you, Michael Cole, and back to you, Michael Cole and Bob Locke. Well, thank you, Tony Schiavone, for talking with Masco here today on Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw. And that's all the time we got here for Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw. I, Michael Cole, Bob Locke, and the Jackal. We hope you like Monday Night Raw, or Alone Night Raw, and we'll see you tomorrow for NXT.